Hello, everyone. This is the Inner Voice Show, part of the Evolving Mind series in the Togetherness Media. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine. I'm a psychotherapist and the founder of Awareness Integration Theory. This is a show about what matters most in our life, our minds, our thoughts, feelings, actions, relationship, and the fulfillment of this beautiful journey of life. Today in this show, I will share the tip of the week about doing what you need to do and moving on versus burdening yourself with too many negative stories about it in your head. Then I will share with you how to aim for success, even if you're afraid, in the Ask Me segment. And then I'll bring you Dr. Soraya Tarmayan Shaybani. She's a social anthropologist and the founding director of the Fertility Reproduction Studies Group, School of Anthropology in University of Oxford, England. We will be talking about the social and psychological aspects of infertility, the third-party donors in different cultures and countries. I love to hear from you. Connect with me through my website, foojan.com, and follow my social media and message me with your comments and topics of interest. But first, here's the tip of the week. This is Dr. Foojan Zeine, and this is the tip of the week. It is interesting how many stories we allow ourselves to make when we need to act on a particular behavior. At times, the behavior itself is sufficient enough, and the added stories become the hindrance. This week, I've been aware of this matter repeatedly with myself, colleagues, and clients. This happens a lot in the work environment, in marriages, or in parent-child relationships. It usually happens when someone has to do a task, which they really don't want to, at work, write a report, finish studying, write a paper, do homework, do chores at home, many other areas of life that you really don't want to do something, or you want others to do it and they're not doing it. The examples are when a person needs to do a task at work, which might take them half an hour. However, they spend hours and days thinking about why they shouldn't do the task, why their work requires it, why their life is in such a shambles that they have to do this job, why are they a failure that they have to do this, how bad the company is, how awful their boss is, how bad everybody else is, how mean and incompetent everybody else is in their life that they actually have to do this task. The point is, you still have to do the task in order not to face other unwanted consequences. But you spend many hours or days pre-task time and many more hours and days post-task creating stories about being victimized and how the world is unfair and that you just don't want to do this if it was an ideal world. Now, remember, the task only takes half an hour. The rest of the time is making up and rehashing negative narrative about it. Another example came about when a mate or a parent needed the garbage to be taken out. I'm sure all of you have felt that way. The task of taking a garbage out, 2 minutes, max 5 minutes. However, this person kept looking at the garbage and got upset all day, blew their anger, watched and waited for the other person to fail in not taking the garbage out when they wanted it. Finally, they did it themselves since it was smelly, then felt victimized for hours about why they have to do this and blasted their partner and their child for never doing anything around the house. This process happened every day. Taking the garbage out took 5 minutes, but the before and after narrative and the blast ruined her own day and her relationship. It is important to listen to your complaint and see if there are communications, agreements, or boundaries that are needed to solve a problem. However, continuing the complaint repeatedly about a task that only takes minutes to complete becomes a waste of your time and emotionally toxic for yourself and people around you. it is important for you to choose to either do the task or not. Each choice obviously has some benefit and consequences. Notice if you need to communicate or negotiate for the cooperation of another person in doing the task with you or for you. If you ask repeatedly and did not get the result, then you may need to renegotiate until you come to an agreed upon action and time which works for both of you, and it will finally be done. My suggestion is to complete the task that needs to be done so that you do not have to face the consequences of not doing the task. Listen to your own complaint. If it is about you and your life, then see what you need to change or resolve so that you no longer have the complaint. If you need other people's cooperation, then join them and listen to see how two of you can come up with a solution to this matter so that it is resolved. Release yourself from unnecessary negative narratives that suck your energy and create anguish and anger for you and everyone else around you. So resolve your communication, agreement, and negotiations with people you hold responsible and accountable so that it is a setup for success and things get done versus failure and upset. For more observational skills, go to my book, Life Reset, the Awareness Integration Path to the Life You Want. Thank you. Be right back. John here in the Ask Me segment. Thank you so much for sending me a question. The question of the week has been, I think I am afraid of success because I know what I got to do, but I don't. So I look at all the things that I got to plan and then I don't, and just kind of like freeze at the moment. So I can't figure out what to do because I know that this is my goal and I really want to succeed at my goal, but I don't do any action. So let's look at it together. Well, first of all, when setting a goal, the point is it has to be something that it calls you forward, that you're passionate about. Maybe the goal you set up is not something you want, but it's something that the society, your parents, your mates, your friends, or the media, or whatever makes the most money, or some other type of motivation shows up, except your passion. Maybe it just doesn't call you forward. It stops you, obviously. It doesn't call you forward. So check out your goal. Is it for you or is it for everybody else? So it's normal that if it is for, getting validation from everybody else, maybe somehow you can also make it for you. Find something pleasurable in having that, creating that, generating it, and living into it. The other part is some people love it when they achieve it, but they really don't love the path to get to it. So let's imagine you having whatever your goal is, right? Having an amazing business, or having the best mate, or having, the greatest house that you wanted to have, having arrived in where you wanted to be in as your identity, as your career, as who you are. Okay. Now close your eyes. How does it feel? How is it to be in that space? How do you think differently when you already obtained whatever your goal is? How are your feelings? What do you experience in your body when you've already achieved it? So kind of like experience the experience when you have it. Now bring it with you to here and now. And imagine that every day that you do something toward that goal is that you're regenerating and recreating that emotional state and that thought process, and start behaving that way. I remember working with a lot of therapists, a lot of attorneys, a lot of physicians who were right before their board exams, and they had come so far. And they were going to do that, but it took maybe 6 months, a year, maybe a couple of years, while they had to kind of like stand behind this doorway before they got to be able to do that fully. And I would say anywhere you go, and when you're sitting down, when you're going outside, when you are with public, with friends, family, imagine yourself that you already have achieved that. Imagine that you are already that doctor or the lawyer or a pharmacist or whomever, whatever it is that you wanted to get to, the business person who's already achieved what they want. How do you behave? How do you talk? What do you talk about? What subjects do you talk about? So imagine yourself being there from here and now. The other part is step by step, go over what it takes to be there, and then bring the goals into weekly and monthly goals. Because if you're sitting here and look at the bigger picture of all that needs to happen, you might get yourself overwhelmed and not want to go forward. So if you break these tasks and go step by step at every week, every month, and even start from the future and walk yourself back and write all the steps that need to be done by when. And that way you're kind of only doing some things until you go to the next level. And all you have to worry about is what's in front of you next week and the next month. And so not only you have the bigger vision, but you have the smaller steps to focus on. So you're not as overwhelmed as you might be. So you kind of like freeze. Ask a mentor, someone who's in that process, to take your hand and walk with you to whatever fear that shows up, for you to explore and look at what it is. And you said, maybe I have fear of success and not failure. Well, most people who have a fear of success is not that they're going to succeed and it's bad. It's that they think they might succeed and not be able to withhold it, maintain it, fail after the success, or not knowing the unknown concept of being there. Well, start looking at the people who have already succeeded in the realm that you want to succeed. Look at their life and how they're maintaining it. So it's no longer unknown for you. It becomes known. And if you are afraid that your life will change, well, good, because that's the change you want. That's the change you're asking for. And so embrace it and start looking for it and start bringing aspects of that change that you think you're going to have then in your life right now. So enjoy and succeed because you deserve it. Hello, I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine, and I'm a psychotherapist and a life coach. If you are experiencing anxiety, depression, loneliness, isolation, fear of what's going on with all that's going on in the globe with the coronavirus, what's going to happen to you if you've lost your job and you have a lot of anxiety and you don't know what's going to happen to you and your family, if your kids are at home and you're not used to it and you have no idea how to handle them, if you're working from home and all the structures have changed and you don't really know how to concentrate and restructure and motivate yourself, I'm here for you. Call me and let's have online therapy for anyone who's in California and online coaching for anyone who's in the world. Go to my website, foojan.com, Foojan.com, and let me be a support to you through online therapy and coaching. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you and being a support to you.
Togetherness Media. Togethernessmedia.com.